welcome back to another Nerds Order Music interview. I am Metal Mayhem, and today I am with the singer from the band Trope. How are you doing?
Good. How are you, Zach?
Doing good, doing good.
Nice.
So, tell me a little bit about yourself.
My name's Diana. I sing in the band Trope, as you've just said, and we're currently releasing an album that's coming out March 31st, and I'm just really excited to share it and to get it out there and for people to hear it and hopefully just maybe connect to it in some way. And I'm aside from singing, I love being creative in general. I really love painting. That's something that I kind of recently have just started getting into and just kind of exploring and having fun with. And I like acting. That's a little bit about myself.
That's awesome. What got you into music?
I think that I grew up with a very musically eclectic family, and so I was exposed to like a lot of different types of genres from a young kid, from a lot of Spanish music, and because my parents are both Spanish speaking, and then to like lots of 80s rock, and then 90s rock, and my older brother was exposing me some really cool alt 90s bands at the time, and I loved R&B and pop, and it just felt like such a big influx like of different genres, and I loved it. And especially when I heard some of the 90s alt stuff, I was just so inspired by that. And so I think that was like the seed for what got me into music. But then I think the next follow up step was seeing a singer in my like elementary school who was just so good, and I was so inspired by that and by just how she was able to like command a crowd and just like communicate her voice through music. And I was just, ever since then, I was just so inspired, so that really kind of got me into it.
That is awesome. What kind of bands were you introduced to? Like, you mentioned like 80s and 90s rock. What bands that got you started on that?
Yeah, so well, I guess my dad, well, from before, I guess they're before 80, but like my dad was really big into Rolling Stones, and so we'd listen to him. We'd listen to Julio Iglesias, and that's not rock, but like singer songwriter. And I loved. I was exposed to Garbage at a young age. I was exposed to Smashing Pumpkins, Red Hot Chili Peppers. I really liked when I was young. Um, and then when I was like in my early teens, I started meeting like people in different bands. I'm from Montreal in Canada, and there's a big metal kind of scene there. And so I started getting huge into metal music, huge. And like my friends were like introducing me to like Nightwish and Dream Theater. I love Dream Theater and Sonata Arctica and all these different metal bands, Symphony X, and I used to go and watch their shows and everything. And so it kind of evolved from like the 90s alt vibe to like more of a metal and some progressive metal and some power metal, and it was all over the place.
I love it.
And yeah, so it was just and like as time goes on, like my influences are always changing and like tastes are always evolving and stuff, and you're getting exposed to new things. But that was kind of the nucleus, of what made me realize that I love that kind of heavier style of music, even though ultimately I love all genres. But that's kind of what really fueled me.
Speaking of Canada, actually, a Canadian metal band is actually what got me to start this up. So I love it. Arrival of
Which
Autumn.
band?
They're called Arrival of Autumn. They're from Alberta.
I actually don't know them.
Yeah, they're more recent, but the drummer helped me do my first interview. He's such a nice guy.
That's so cool.
He taught me how to set up Zoom. He taught me how to get everything in order. He was just such a good guy, and
That's so
that's what
cool.
started this. That's what made me be able to start doing Zoom interviews.
That's really cool.
He's
That's
such a good
awesome.
dude. Like, I cannot wait to talk to him again.
That's so
But
cool.
yeah,
It's nice to meet my dad.
how'd you meet your band members?
I met I guess in different ways. I met the guitar player in Toronto, Canada a while ago, and we were working on actually different, like totally different stuff before this progressive kind of stuff hashed out. I was like trying to work on a solo record, and then he showed me this like proggy kind of like these instrumentals that he had like been accumulating and writing, and I was just like flabbergasted by that. Like I loved it, and I didn't even think of like doing like working on progressive music. I almost didn't know like that one could even though I knew it, like it was out there and I loved it, but I didn't. Sometimes you just don't know how to go about that because it's like not everyone is into that style of music, you know what I mean? So it can be sometimes weird to find collaborators in that. So that kind of really worked out. And then we met our, I guess everyone else we met either through management or through common friends. And the second guitar player, our guitar player knew from before, you know, our bass player, Todd. We met him through our previous manager who introduced us, and then our current drummer Sash we met through a common friend. So it's just kind of like, yeah, it's all these kind of weird connections that you never, you can't like anticipate or know how it's going to happen, but it just kind of, yeah.
It's lovely how all that just falls into place and you just don't expect it to.
Yeah, of course, like what doesn't maybe get said, or maybe it does, is the amount of work it takes for it to fall into
Oh,
place.
I know. It's a hassle.
Yes, it tends to not be miraculous. It tends to be like a
Yeah.
lot of hustling and going through, you know, a lot of people, and until you kind of find people who are the right fit. You know,
Yeah.
it's really challenging because music is such a personal thing, and yeah, it's you kind of want to gel, you know, in a certain way if you're going to be spending a lot of time together and being creative, you know, together. So it's yeah.
You said earlier about music being personal. That's why I love metal and rock. A lot of it comes from the heart, which is actually a big reason why I got into metal is because of how much it is like pure emotion. Same
Hmm.
thing goes with rock. It's just like a lot of it is a lot of emotion and experience put into music, which I think is what music is supposed to be. And that's why I always say with these genres. Like I can go all different genres. Like I can listen to a bunch of different stuff, but rock and metal are I consider my home genres because of those facts alone. Because like you can relate to it and it can even be healing and life saving.
Totally.
Metal has saved my life more times than I can count.
That's amazing.
And that's actually a big reason why I started this whole thing up, was to give back.
That's so
But
cool.
yeah, moving on to the next question. I don't want to get carried away here.
No, it's
What is
okay.
your song process like? How does like the songwriting process go for you guys?
It usually starts with instrumentals. So we usually start with the music first. So I'll get the track, like usually it's just like a kind of a rough demo of the like ideas. Like so the guitars, bass, and drums are like kind of all matted out. And then I have to figure out a melody and a lyric to that. So usually that's how it starts. On the next record, though, there's so usually I don't write any of the instruments. I just do melody and lyrics. But on the next record, I think we're like there's an idea that I just came up with, like on the guitar and vocally, that we're probably going to throw into there. So, but up until now, it's been like the producer, guitar player writes all the instruments, and then I get the track, and then I just sing melodies and lyrics over it. And then sometimes we'll both work on that part together as well, like on the melodies.
I love that. Like, I love how each process for each band is different, and I really enjoy seeing that.
Yeah,
It's
it's so
wonderful.
true. It's so relative. Like there's no, what I like about it is like there's no right way, there's no wrong or right answer. It's just like whatever works for you, you know, whatever kind of method you feel like you can communicate or like jive or like, you know, create something that's like that you're, you know, digging and that, yeah, like comes from a place, you know? So,
Yeah, I get
yeah.
that entirely. What made you guys think of the band name Trope?
Uh, I think the idea for it was that it would be humorous because I mean, we try to break out of tropes like cliches a lot in the music, like by just the different time signatures and stuff, which isn't done on purpose. Like we don't, the music isn't like the time signatures aren't crafted from the standpoint of like, oh, look, we can change time signatures. It's more just like a natural kind of extension. And so because we try to break like patterns, like it was just kind of an ironic, if you want to say, title to call our stuff cliche or like patternous. That's not the word, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. I get exactly what you mean. I love that.
Yeah. And it's kind of just short, you know what I mean? It's not like a long-winded thing. It's just like trope, you know, it's a cliche, whatever the fuck, who
Simple,
cares?
easy to find.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
actually that's actually nice because sometimes like band names can be so long you just forget it and you don't know who to look up. And having bands with small names make it so much easier to find what you're looking for.
Hmm. That's true. Yeah, that was a happy accident.
Barbara, there are no mistakes, just happy accidents.
Sorry? What did you say?
Oh, you said happy accidents. I was quoting Bob Ross.
What did you say?
There are no mistakes, just happy accidents.
I like that. And that's actually a part of the writing process too. Like sometimes when, like personally, when I feel like I've made a mistake or whatever, like you stumble like on a nugget, you're like, oh, it's the thing that you wouldn't have normally done, you know, that becomes like the idea that lives in the song.
I love that.
So I love when that happens. Yeah.
It's great, honestly, because it's like, oh no, this works. Just like you just don't expect it to work, but it does.
Yeah, totally.
Same thing with inspiration. You can get inspiration from anywhere, and sometimes you never expect
Huge. Yeah.
it. Let's see. Here, I'm trying to think more questions. Um,
Go through your Rolodex.
for real. Oh my god, I
Older
run into
people,
that
older
all the
kids
time.
don't use Rolodexes anymore, like the actual.
Oh, I remember those. I used to use those back in elementary school.
That's cool.
I was old fashioned. I like using old tech all the time when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Like I
The
used to go to
typewriter.
school with the old mobile cassette players. I was listening to Ozzy Osbourne.
Nice.
Oh goodness. Everyone else had CD players and MP3s. I was running around with the old school cassette player.
Yeah, you're like, I'll evolve on my time.
Yeah. Just like the old stuff. That's how I've always been. If ever given the opportunity, who would you guys love to collaborate with?
Ooh, um, I think I mean, personally, I love what Joe Barresi does. He's a producer and mix engineer,
Hmm.
and he's really talented. Like he gets like some kind of crazy dimensionality in his mixes that I don't know. He just creates this like space that's like three dimensional, and it's amazing. And so definitely him from a post like I guess production standpoint, but other band like do you mean like maybe other bands or other artists?
All of the above.
All the above. I Oh my god, there's so many people that I love to collaborate with. Someone who I've been listening to recently, and I don't know their stuff very, very much, but Hailstorm, I
Oh,
think,
I love them.
oh my god, her voice is insane. Like, it's so good. So, I mean,
It's
that would be really
amazing.
cool collaborating
It's
with
really like I love the way
someone.
she does the lyrics on a lot of her stuff. Same with Sepsis. They're really good too. Their vocalist, she's amazing.
I don't actually know them.
I actually interviewed them a few days ago.
Oh,
Yep.
cool.
Yep.
Okay.
They're
Yeah,
a really nice group. They're a metal group.
nice. And then I think, I mean, I think Trent Reznor is amazing at like what he does. And I don't know. There's so many amazing
It's hard to
talented.
choose just one. There's
It's
like so many
hard.
amazing ones you would love to work with.
Yeah, it's hard. I think I'm just pretty open to that, you know? Like it's just I don't know. It's cool to just learn from other people and just collaborate and just, you know, riff ideas and stuff. So
That's why I usually say all the above because I know there's always more than just one.
yeah, exactly. Always, always.
Even as an interviewer, there are a lot of groups I would love to talk with, such as like Currents, because they're the ones who metal started my journey to self healing. Like they're the ones who saved my life. So
It's
I would
amazing.
love to talk to them at some point. There's a lot of groups. And honestly, a lot of the groups I would love to speak with, I've already talked to. Like Hulu, I waited about 10 years for that opportunity.
That's so
I got
cool.
into her music like 2010 when I was just a kid. Yeah, well, when I was like, let's see, 13 around that. And I just got into it and I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Congratulations.
Honestly, the response I get from this is so nice because like all the bands here are just so sweet.
That's really
Because
cool.
best thing is like with underground, a lot of people appreciate the time people take to speak with them and spread the music and
Hmm.
giving back like that is all I wanted to do in the first place.
Hmm.
So being able to do that has just been an absolute joy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a little hobby I've been doing after. Well, I already mentioned how metal saved me. After that happened, I just got right into this.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I appreciate it. Honestly, I've only been doing it for maybe weeks, maybe a little bit less than that, and I've already had about 15. So pretty good numbers if you ask me.
Nice.
What was the sorry, I gotta get back on topic. Goodness, I always do this. Um,
You're good.
what was the best piece of advice you ever got when entering music?
Oh, um, I've gotten a lot of advice that was really good. I think. I think one of the things that I really liked that I was told was you can't think your way through it. You know, I tend to, I have a, like an engineering background. Like I studied engineering in university. And so my brain like flips between like I'm very emotional on the one hand, and then I like that logical side kind of also sometimes like takes over and stuff. And I like that a lot because it's like things aren't necessarily all explainable. You know, it's not all rationalizable. You know, I skipped the English course, but um, yeah, and I like that. You know, I think that that was really great advice because sometimes it's just like you just got to trust your gut on things. You know, and instincts, and I mean even just like outside of the writing process, like the creative process, obviously. You know, but yeah, I think there's just like there's a power to like and a clarity of just doing versus trying to come up with the best plan, you know, or trying to make sure everything's perfect, you know. I think just doing and creating something and getting it out there and doing your best, obviously, I think was really, really great advice, you know, rather than just trying to perfect things or sit on them or explain everything or, you know, think your way through things, you know.
Yeah, I get that
You'll never get to
entirely.
the other side of something by thinking about it. You
You got
know,
a good point
got
there.
you just got to do it, you know.
Yeah.
So I thought that was great advice. I think the rest of advice wasn't like maybe as overt, but it came from just experience, you know, just like kind of being suspect a bit sometimes, like of who you're working with, you know, and who you're dealing with, and just kind of being aware, you know, of people around you. Um, I think that's been like just a takeaway. I guess it's. I mean, I think it's probably like that in any endeavor. You know, you kind of gotta be selective on your team. So that experience has just come from like experience. You know.
Yeah.
So and that's nice because now like it's like we're just continuously like kind of trying to surround ourselves with the right people. You know.
Hmm.
So
I
yeah.
get that entirely. It's always good to have the right people around you because when it counts, they're always there to pick you up and help you out.
Yeah, and it just makes a big difference too. Like, I mean, just being positive and like solution based, you know, rather than just focusing on what's not working. Like, just, you know, having that kind of like mentality, I think is so important, you know, for
Like,
us.
oh, definitely. And honestly, I've
Yeah.
seen that too. Like whenever I listen to like some of your stuff, for example, Shout, I definitely can see that progress, and I think it's amazing.
Thank you.
Speaking of Shout, what was the message behind that song? Like what inspired it?
So the song itself is originally, I don't know if you heard the original version by Tears for Fears. So it's our rock version of that song. Uh and talking a bit about the song itself for a second, like what I love about what Tears for Fears have done with it is just I love them as songwriters. Like I think they just create to me music that it's like still like holds up in relevance in topic, you know, like at any I feel like it's almost like eternal, you know, the messaging like it that like I read Shout, you know, today and like or when I read it and then when we were set to release it, you know, like in April, it took on like a whole different meaning, you know, given the world circumstances and everything. Like, um, for me personally, I find it a bit of like a protest song for me, like not necessarily political, but just in general. Like, I feel like I love it because it's an affirmation. It's like, you know, like a staff in the sand, you know, and it's just, it's kind of like, it's like the fact that you're not just going to stand idly by, you know, you're going to speak your mind and like um yeah, I just I really love that aspect of that song. You know, there's a lot of like other, you know, meanings for me that I've found through it, you know, and like in the different lyrics, you know, like those there's a line there that's like those one track minds that took you for a working boy, kiss them goodbye, you shouldn't have to jump for joy. And I love that line because it's just we shouldn't have to like kowtow or like bow down like to a situation that's like either toxic or just not right, you know what I mean? Just because we're in that situation, it's like it's sorry, this is probably a little bit windy and confusing, but yeah, I like that lyric a lot. And it's like the one track minds that took you for a working boy, I think is just really cool, because sometimes like I felt like, sometimes we underestimate each other, you know what I mean? And it's like there's always more behind a human than, what maybe what they're you perceive, like one perceives their job to be, or their position, or like all these like weird preconceptions that we have about stuff, like I think get washed away, when you actually talk to a person and just see them for who they are.
I get that entirely. That's actually why I love the song. It's more about like we will not sit idly by as you control us. That's why I love the most about Shout.
Yeah,
It's it's
totally.
it's such a strong song. Like you people really don't understand how strong music can be.
Mm-hmm.
And when I listen to stuff like Shout or other things like that help with the healing process, you never really know the true meaning of music till you get into that. Like I have friends who would never listen to rock or metal because I always thought, oh no, it's the devil's music. That's what their parents told them. I put up lyric sheet after lyric sheet from song after song, and now they're all rock and metal heads. It's
Nice.
hilarious. I got my one friend into, well, you guys and a bunch of other artists
Nice.
overnight just because I showed him a bunch of lyric sheets. And then he was completely blown away by it.
That's awesome.
And when he heard his first guitar riff, he was like, this is beautiful. I'm like, yeah, now you know why I'm into it all the time.
Yeah. It's like, oh my God, the devil is telling me that I can do it. It's like, how dare they? That's terrible.
Honestly, like he never knew like how empowering metal and rock can be until I got him into it. And now he understands why I do this.
Yeah.
He said to me today, you are so lucky you get to talk to all these groups. I'm like, dude, I just want to spread music. That's why I do this. And he honestly, he has anxiety like I do. He always
Hmm.
said to me, how do you do it with the anxiety? I'm like, you get used to it after your 10th one.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
But
it's just like that's kind of life, eh? Like you're never born ready. You know what I mean? You just jump into the
exactly,
fire and like eventually you're like, oh, I guess I'll get there at some point, if I could just keep
exactly.
doing
Jump
this.
in,
If you
get
don't do it at all, you're never going to.
exactly. Like you got to just go with it. If
Yeah.
you're nervous, but your gut says do it, just jump in and see what happens.
What's your friend's name?
I have a bunch of online friends who I get into this.
Well,
A
the
lot.
one
One of
that's saying
them,
that he wants to like that he wish he could do this.
his name is John. He's out of California. He
John,
can,
you
yep.
can do this. You can totally do it.
Oh goodness, I'm gonna make sure he sees that. Well, he's going to. He watches all my videos.
Nice.
But yeah, I love it. I love this. It's like you're able to talk to groups whose music has saved you, and that's like a big honor for a lot of people. I just never thought I actually have a chance. I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a shot, see what happens. Message the first group I want to talk to. It happened. I'm like, oh shit, this actually is happening
Like this worked.
for
What?
real. Actually, before that, I had two typed up ones because that's what the group preferred. So I just did that.
Okay.
But Arrival of Autumn gave me my very first like big video one, and I just went with it.
Nice.
I was nervous as hell. You can see that in the video, but
Yeah.
I've been getting better with it.
Good to step out of the comfort zone. I mean,
Exactly. Like my anxiety used to be so bad,
yeah.
and now
That's
it's like doesn't even phase me that much anymore.
that's kind of like yeah, where progress comes from. It's just like yeah, like just facing those things, in spite of ourselves.
Yeah. Life is all about making progress and learning from your mistakes and getting better at things you want to do.
Yeah,
And
totally.
that's that's what got me into this. So after metal saved me, like I mentioned before, I was so nervous about this, but like, you know what? I'll give it a shot, see what happens. And here we are.
And here we are. No limbs flying anywhere. No
Not yet. Oh, wait, my arm's
crazy
dislocated.
like
Hold on. I'm losing my
battleground.
arm. I'm getting a tear. Yeah, I think I should get moving with the questions. Well, I have one last question. What is the future for Trope?
The future for Trope, the near future, the very near future, is we're releasing a single March 5th, Paradolia, and it's the audio version. So we're releasing the audio version March 5th everywhere, and I love that song. It's one of my favorite songs off the record personally, and it's one of our more progressive ones as well. I like and yeah, I that song like has helped me a lot just through the writing of it, and so I'm really excited to get it out there. And it's and then we're releasing an album, our debut album, March 31st, and it's coming out with at the same time as the music video for Pareidolia.
I'm
So
very excited to see those when they come out. I will
yeah,
definitely keep my eye out.
yeah, and so there's 10 songs on the album, and yeah, it's March 31st. So right
Can't
now we've
wait.
only got like a few singles out, so yeah, I'm really excited about getting like the whole thing, out there, because we've already started writing album number 2,
Oh,
so it's yeah, it'll be really nice to kind of get that out into the ether, see how.
I'm excited to see both those projects lift off. I cannot wait.
Thank you. Yeah,
Of course.
thanks.
Hey, music is always a treat, especially with rock and metal. It's always something new. It's wonderful. Like you can never get
Yeah,
enough of it. Whenever I see something new come out from like newer bands and rising artists, it's like this is beautiful. I'm gonna share it, help spread it, and then after that, we usually get in touch and you already know the rest of it. The rest of it's
yeah,
history. But
that's good.
yeah,
I want to add too, actually, another future thing is touring, playing shows. So that's a very, very big one for us. And I'm so excited for that to happen, obviously, when it can.
yeah. Once
And
COVID is like blown over,
yeah, no pun intended. But yeah, like this trope is very much like about the live show, so I'm really, really excited to tour this album and just meet people,
if you ever
That's like
stop,
the best part. That's the best part of it.
if you ever stop by my estate, let me know, and I'm gonna come right over there.
Definitely, yeah. We'll definitely be sharing that and posting about it, and yeah, I'll let you know for sure.
I cannot wait. That's gonna be awesome. I miss
Yeah,
the music life. Actually, my big exposure
which
was my biggest exposure was Warped Tour. That's what really got me started with all the rock. Like I've always been into rock since I was little, so with metal. But going to the shows is what really got me into underground and what got me started with a lot of the stuff I listen to now. It all started at those
yeah.
festivals, which was amazing.
It's such a great way to just see different acts, and like just get exposed to like even different styles and stuff. Like I went to Gigantour in Montreal when I was young, and it's different. Like it's maybe not as diverse as Warped Tour, um, because it's more just like metal centric.
Yeah.
But I loved it. I thought it was so awesome. And like I got to see some bands at the time that I was just really, really loving, like Symphony X and Opeth, and I think Metallica played as well. I can't believe, like, I can't
We're
remember if they were.
lucky.
Yeah,
So lucky.
yeah.
Always
So
wanted to go to that festival too. I never
the
got the
Gigantour
chance
one,
because
yeah,
I'm all the way in the States. I never got a chance to go over there and check it out.
yeah. It's I loved it. So I thought that, like, yeah, that's always a great way to kind of check out and like learn about different acts as well, and just see some of the ones that you know and love. So yeah,
Yeah, honestly, it's an experience in itself. That's what makes
yeah,
it great.
it's
Like
so
the
fun. And
journey.
we actually, like, it was cool because we actually played Summerfest, which is like a big kind of music festival in the States, in Wisconsin. I don't know if you've ever been to it.
I've never got to. The closest thing I've gotten to festivals was Warped Tour because
Okay,
they hit almost every state, so I was able to always go to it
right.
because it was like so close to me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And besides
And it's
that, I usually didn't get to go to any others because of distance.
yeah, it's so fun to play on those stages, like, and to it's so fun. Yeah,
I
I
was glad they're
love it.
bringing it back because the creator of Warped Tour recently retired, like 2019. But he's been dropping hints saying after COVID we're bringing it back. I'm like, you're shitting me. So I'm excited as hell.
That's really cool.
The thing about Warped Tour is anyone can play it. That's what I love the most about it. They made it accessible to everyone, including bands who had no labels. If you
Yeah,
had an album out, you could literally just go to them and they'll let you play.
yeah,
That's what I love about it.
that's really cool.
Been diverse
Yeah,
too, metal, punk, rock. It's just been like everywhere with
yeah.
that.
That inclusivity is really nice. Like that's
Mhm.
yeah,
It's a lot of fun too. Like you meet some crazy people there, but it's like you don't have to hide who you are because you can be just as you can be your normal crazy self at those festivals, which is a big reason why I went. Honestly, it was nice
yeah. It is cool. It's
meeting.
cool. Like, yeah, it's like yeah, I don't know. I agree. I liked like, when we played, it was cool to kind of get off stage and then you can walk like 20 feet and then just see another band playing. I thought that was really, really cool. And there's like kind of there's just like a camaraderie, like a cool vibe, like everyone just talks to each other and um yeah.
It's just like you're bonding with the artists and the fans, and it makes for a very nice environment for everyone.
Yeah, it's super cool. It's like, and it's cool because people are out like to see music, you know what I mean? So it's already like kind of a nice like a friendly audience, you know what I mean? So it's yeah, it's really, really cool.
That's what makes it worth it. It's like you never expect to ever meet some of these artists in your life, and here comes along a festival, and it's like, oh, this is actually happening now. It's great. Like honestly, that is actually what got me to a lot of new bands I listen to now. I saw them all live at Warped Tour, and I'm like, oh, this sounds amazing. And then, like I said before, that's how my journey to the underground really started up. And well, yeah, rest is history.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for
That's
your time. Oh,
Yeah, that's
sorry,
actually inspired. Yeah, no, I was just gonna add to what you were saying. Like that's inspired me too. Like I guess I think seeing some of those tours early on as well was like, you like when I was really young, like you just kind of see other musicians doing that and being on stage and playing this awesome music that just gets your blood churning and you're like, fuck, like I want to do that, you know?
yeah.
Yeah. Anyways. I swore a couple of times, I realized in this interview, and I don't know if that affects
Oh, it's
your,
fine. Don't
but
worry.
I guess you can bleep it out or something.
I swear sometimes too. It's not a big deal. All I gotta do is go to video, upload, hit not for kids, and we're good.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm gonna wrap things
Awesome.
up here. This concludes another Nerds Order interview. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you all have a great day and stay safe.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Have an
Anytime.
awesome day. Stay safe and yeah.
Turn your back, self-focus, get what you need. Wasted space on all these entitled thieves. Dress like lambs, but wolves with teeth caring for no